Hello and welcome back to Dad Plays Games at Lunch. Today I'm going to look at Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. I'm a couple hours into the game now. I tried doing a recording at the beginning of the game, but it didn't record my audio, so I am going to start from the point I'm at right now. This game is something that's a little tough to play in one go. It's not a long game from what I've been reading, but it is a game that I think is going to take me a little while to finish simply because of how heavy the subject matter is and just how atmospheric and overall wonderful this is. So for those who don't really know much about this game, Senua's Sacrifice is about a warrior woman in a Viking culture who is on a quest to restore the soul of her beloved, from what I've gathered so far. And her beloved's head is that bag you see on her back at this time. When I had played the intro earlier, one of the things I was noting on quite frequently is the sheer beauty of this game. I mean, I'm just going to scan around Senua a little bit just so you can see the detail in her markings, her scars, her cuts. On her arm here is something called rot, which is a gameplay mechanic. Even the little bands on her sword is so fantastically rendered. Her hair, everything is just completely lovely. Also, when you play this game, you realize quickly that there's something seriously wrong with Senua. She is not all there, unfortunately. She hears voices. She's obviously lived a very traumatic past. One of the neat touches they do is, you're not hearing her voices right now, but you will shortly, I'm sure, is she never looks directly at the screen because maybe she knows we're here. Maybe she senses someone's watching her, which is a bit of a fourth wall break. But you see when I pan the camera to get a dead on Senua, she always looks away. There's no reason for this. I mean, really, aside from the developer wanting to kind of show that part of her that isn't safe. It is not a fast-paced Devil May Cry game, despite this being from Ninja Theory, the company who made Devil May Cry. DMC Devil May Cry, the most recent one. They also made one of my favorite games from the PS3, which was Heavenly Sword, as well as Enslaved, which is one of my favorite games of all time, despite the truly terrible ending. That made zero sense. I've played Enslaved twice on the PlayStation and once on the PC. I love the game so much. So I love this developer. They have some financial freedom now, so they funded this game pretty much on their own. And let's give a little listen to what you can see here. So she can focus on these obelisks.
Frost giant, a being of darkness.
So we're after this guy,
And
the
all
Frost
his
Giant.
sons and grandsons were dark after him. Of his daughters and granddaughters, some were monstrous, but others fair. But there was another who came from the ice. Buri. In shape, he was like a man, big and powerful. His son, Bor, took a fair giant to be his wife, and they had 3 sons. Odin was the eldest, and the Northmen hold him to be the foremost of the gods, the All-Father.
That's interesting. So Odin's parents was giants. Interesting. Ninja is pretty much masters of mocap performance. In their first 2 big games, Heavenly Sword and Enslaved, they had Andy Serkis, who many people know as a very famous motion capture artist for Gollum, for Caesar from the War on the Planet of the Apes movies. But he played a couple of main characters in those games. The bad guy in Heavenly Sword, but he also directed the motion capture and the performances, and he played Monkey in Enslaved. I don't think he was in DMC, actually. I could be wrong. It's been a while. But certainly I'm sure they hold him very well. And they created this awesome process for the motion capture for this game that I've been reading up on. And actually, if you go to the Hellblade website, see, there's the voices talking to her. She wants us to focus on this sigil, which I'm not going to. I will in a second. So the only time you can actually look dead on Senua is when she's looking at something. So that's kind of awesome. Just look at the eyes. There's something I mean, the eyes are very lifelike, but there's also something, a bit of childlike madness in them that is amazing to see. When they were demoing and starting Hellblade, if you look at the dev diaries on their website, one of their employees, I'm blanking on her name right now, stood in to perform as Senua, and they were so impressed with how she did that she actually became the permanent model and motion capture artist and voice actress for Senua. She ended up working out, getting voice coaches, acting coaches, just so she could play this role, and I think it was a couple of years of work to actually realize what they did in this game. So when you watch this or go to the dev diaries, you'll be pretty amazed to see this girl do this. So let's focus and get on with the story.
Illusion hides the path to Valravn. Don't trust your eyes. Find another way to see the truth.
Don't trust your eyes. Means I have to focus. So this game, as I said, is not terribly fast-paced. There is combat. The combat. You'll notice there's no GUI, by the way, as well. There is absolutely no GUI in this game. Even when you're fighting, they really give you.
What's that?
Oh,
It's a door. No, it's not. Push it down.
so that's the voices
Come on,
you sometimes hear.
push it.
She sometimes reacts to her own voices, which I find very interesting. Okay, so we have to defeat this guy. We had to defeat one other kind of godlike creature. Oh, that's interesting.
Look, something's different. Something's changed.
Seems the door opened.
We all want to see behind the veil, don't we? But once we do, we mostly just close our eyes again and pretend what we saw was never really there.
Sorry for the stuttering. It wasn't doing this last time. I might have some ghost processes running on my PC. One of the neatest attributes. Hold on. And I switched my audio settings a little bit because I was having some voice recordings, so now my audio is kicking in and out, and I know why. So I apologize for the sporadic audio, but there's a breathing system in this game that's super subtle. You can actually hear her breathing, which gets faster the more stressed she is, the more crazy she feels. One of the neat things about this game is they actually had a mental health consultant who actually worked with the company to kind of describe what psychosis, neurosis, multiple personalities could do. And
Anyone never could close her eyes.
see, that's the voices you hear. If you're listening to this online, I'd suggest putting some headphones on because the voices come from all over, and it's truly fantastic. To experience that, it really adds a depth to the game. This game as well is the first one in a very, 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 very long time that's at this level of quality, not a small little one-person indie game that has no collectibles, no points, no, costume changes, nothing like that. You're playing the game. There's no GUI. You're just progressing to the end, good or ill. Oof. This game can get very, very creepy.
The price she pays for seeing things differently.
Yeah.
Because once you gaze into the relentless darkness, all that lurks within it.
See, she's breathing. She's stressed.
See you too.
See the breathing? She is stressed. It was very quiet before, but now she's very stressed. And when it gets hazy and dark like this, you know there's some darkness coming and very creepy stuff. A lot of dead bodies in this game for sure. So I'm tracking a god of illusion or a demigod of illusion right now, so I can't really trust my eyes. The last sequence I went, oh shit, was fire-based, and that was pretty scary. Okay, so this is the combat. Combat is pretty basic. Dodge with A, deflect with RB. There's a heavy strike. Sometimes I can do a focus move when I flash on the side there, which lets me slow them down. I can do a super deflect. Oh. Oops. There you go. See? Very pretty when that happens. then I can do this kind of magic motion. See, I can do this big bitchin'.
Behind you!
This guy is tough. When I do these kind of crazy motions, I do get a bonus to my shoot. So being a bit crazy is good because it gives you these kind of warnings, like your other personalities are actually telling you when these bozos. There are some different attacks. Like I can run and do a really neat.
Finish this!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, I will die. Sometimes.
It's not over. It's not over. Do it. Going.
Okay. Whew! That was close. So I can do this quick recovery, which I couldn't figure. And this is the thing about this game.
Will not stop her.
Yeah, they won't stop me.
She will find what she's looking for.
0 tutorials. So the first battle I fought, I hit pause, and I looked, okay, melee, fast, whatever, but there was no, press the right trigger to flash them. Actually, even the mechanic of coming up for second chance wasn't explained. I kind of was mashing buttons when I fell one time because I didn't want to die. Because every time you die, the rot grows on your arm. Now, there was a little pop-up at the beginning of the game saying, if the rot grows too much, it's going to delete your saved games. But some people have investigated that, and in fact, that doesn't seem to be true. But anyway, we'll see. So I need to find this symbol, I think.
Valravan's power of illusion comes from ravens. Align the ravens to break his magic seal.
Show me what you have seen, Truth. Look how much it's changed. It's all different now.
Okay, so maybe I need to go up top. Can I go up top? Not there. Sometimes.
To break the seal, align the ravens with the mark of Valravan.
So there's the ravens. Okay, so I have to do it from in here probably. So this is the bulk of the gameplay here. There is no real I feel like I have to get up there somehow. Oh. Okay, I don't know how I missed that. Because I'm sure it's up top. Yeah, there we go. There's no kind of leap mechanic. It's really just, yeah, this is the way. Oh, snap. There you go. So the last fire thing was there was all these symbols I had to find.
Something's happened.
So anyway, there's no overlay, there's no, perspective. Like, even with her health, you kind of get her health by, understanding what's kind of happening with, and also there's a photo mode, by the way, which lets you take, interesting No, I don't want to movement. Thought I could go lower, but you can't. So I don't want. But there's this neat photo mode, as I said, that lets you kind of take these different vignettes that, you know, are very cool, that really, you know, showcase the game in a way that is super edge detection, colorize, deep saturation, melt, flatten, awareness, double exposure, shatter, none. You know, and then you can use, and then I can hide the UI, and then I could just hit my screenshot button and get a nice screenshot. So, you know, right out of the box, the developer included this, which is super neat. Unnecessary by far, but really cool. And then it goes right back to Senua and just awesomeness that is her character model. Senua is talked about being incredibly capable, which I love. Did you feel it?
It's like crossing into another world that
Yeah, she's definitely an illusion
looks the
world.
same, but feels different.
Mm-hmm.
An imposter world.
You know, and
The
for
forest itself.
such a dark game,
Watch.
there's so much darkness around her, but there's also, you know, all this vegetation and green, and you know, it could have easily have been a completely dark world with, you know, flame and death and destruction, but Ninja Theory decided that despite that tone, and there's certainly sequences in this game that are very, very dark, despite that tone, they were going to kind of focus on a living, vibrant world that does have a lot of death and destruction in it.
Another gate.
Another gate.
You know what to do. Stay back.
So sometimes the voices are very helpful,
To break the seal, align the ravens with
But-
the mark of Valravan.
other times they're not helpful at all. And you know, in that case,
Can't you see?
I've seen them.
Line up the ravens.
I hear something.
If you hear the song of Valravan, follow it, and it will lead you to him. But be aware of his illusions.
Uh-oh.
You can't always trust your eyes.
Uh-oh. Hmm. So how would I get up there? 'Cause I feel that's where I need to be.
Listen, focus. You need to focus. Focus.
Creepy. And you'll notice the somehow get up high, but I don't know how. Yeah, can't get through there. I'm not giving up. Don't worry. Don't worry, creepy voices. So, as you've seen, the combat is not the focus of this game. I would say the focus of this game is truly these puzzles and exploring the world and kind of understanding what is going on in Senua's head. I don't understand where I'm supposed to go. So I have to line up them in the door.
Mother of it.
Challenge me. Where is he?
That wasn't really him.
Your fault.
I just look at how the light plays. I mean, I know I'm going on and on about the atmosphere of this game, but I mean, just look at. Fuck, I wish I could get lower. I mean, just look at the light play of everything. One thing I wish they had was I wish they had a way to change the angle so that you could see more of her environment when Senua was here. But I mean, just look at the light play on her arms and how gorgeous that is. And I don't know, it just really blows me away the lengths they went to make this game look a certain way. It's not photorealistic, I'm not even going to say that. Well, kind of is, but it's just so striking. Gosh. Okay. So, continually fooled by him.
She lost. Wouldn't be the first time.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Last winter, before the tragedy, she journeyed into the wilds of her native land, living off berries, roots, and rabbits. It's not uncommon, you see. We call such a person a Gelt. Some, like truth, become Gelt in search of power. Others, like Senua, to purge a curse. Those who make it back are forever changed.
I think this is that gate over there. Okay, so I can lift the bar up now, so that helps me get back later. But now I can actually go up this ladder, and I think I can line up that next puzzle door from this point. Yeah. Maybe not quite.
She can get up now. She can get up now. What's happening? She can get up now. She can get out. Must be magic.
Ah. So magic made the path open up.
Wait, it's him.
So he wants her to come.
Closer.
He wants her to come so he can challenge her.
It's not him. It's a trick. She's doing it on her own. He's not tricking her. It's magic. It's an illusion.
The interplay between her voices is really wonderful. Um, and you don't even see these changes happening, but the changes do happen around her world. Definitely. And then the door is open. Well, you saw a bit of combat, you saw a bit of puzzles. I do not want to ruin too much more of the game, so I'm kind of glad we didn't see any major plot points as we progress through this. So I think I'm going to call it there. This has been Dad Plays Games at Lunch, exploring a bit of Hellblade Senua Sacrifice for you. I cannot recommend this game strongly enough. It's at a good price on console and on PS4 and PC. It's an unforgettable experience into a damaged mind through a truly unique vision. This development team at Ninja Theory is one of my favorites, and while this isn't the easiest game to play through, it's one of the most worthwhile I've ever experienced. So this has been Dad Plays Games at Lunch, playing Hellblade Senua Sacrifice, and I really encourage everyone to check it out. Thank you for watching, and feel free to subscribe and watch some more of my videos. Talk soon.